County Matters from Waterford. Coming up on tonight's show, we visit the Dungarvan Tradfest and sample some of West Waterford's finest trad music. We travel to Bunmahon and meet artist and designer Orla Hammersley. And we visit the Art Hand in the Copper Coast, where their monthly Words Night is taking place. All that and more on County Matters. Dungarvan and West Waterford is renowned for its traditional music, song, dance and Irish language. Each year, the town hosts the Dungarvan Trad Festival. The festival is a lively gathering of musicians, singers and dancers from all around the country. We went along to some of the sessions organised for the festival.
Yeah, it's a great weekend. It's a kind of a conglomeration of two festivals, the Waterford Fla's on here and the Dungarvan Tradfest, and there's musicians from all over the country that come down and play for the weekend. It's just a chance to meet people that you don't get to see normally and to see musicians that you don't get to see normally, and there's a lot of free outdoor gigs as well, so it's a very family friendly festival.
The June Bank Holiday weekend is a great time to run a festival. I mean, Cultus as an organisation is very concerned not just with promoting Irish music for the native people here in Ireland, but it's part of our natural resources, we think, and it's a natural resource that will contribute to a huge tourism industry in the future. My role mainly is to contact the acts and to coordinate the efforts of fundraising, sponsorship, and to line out the programme. Dungarvan is a festival town as well, of course. We've got many other festivals here. We've got a lot of beautiful landscape and scenery, seascape and mountains around here. So that's really why we picked the June Bank Holiday weekend. We can have outdoor entertainment in the streets with a huge busking competition, and we can hear in the background the gig rig is going full belt there.
We were both dancing with two groups here today, Calanua and Cool Ceol Cumber's Ceoltas group. And yesterday we actually both danced with another group called Teda. We both toured with a major show called Ragus all over Europe, America, and all over Europe. Went to Japan and China.
So it was brilliant to be able to come home this weekend and dance with all our friends and anyone who we grew up with through the years.
Tradfest here, it attracts some of the best exponents of traditional music in the country. They get invited here. Michael Mernon and all of the committee here basically know all the musicians from all over the country, and when they put on a festival then they get down and they pick some of the best players and invite them down. So there's a very high standard of music happening here in town, be it in the kind of informal session type and concert style, so very lucky. I grew up here in Dealish, just outside Dungarvan, here in County Waterford, and during the late 80s and 90s there was a great kind of revival of teaching of the traditional music. We were very lucky around here to have the likes of Bobby Gardner and all these great musicians that took up teaching and stuff around County Waterford, and I was lucky that got us into traditional music. And I was a late starter. I started when I was 13 years of age. Sure, it kept me going through my teenage years, and I quickly got into it. And then sure, there was a great festival scene during the summer and all that kind of stuff when we were young lads. So we used to get to play and head out to festivals. Very like the festival here at the Tradfest, you know. Yeah, the festival is great for musicians, meeting musicians, exchanging tunes and exchanging songs, and people from other parts of Ireland and the world actually bringing their musics and stuff to Dungarvan and vice versa. They get to hear musicians from this area and they hear their tunes, so it's a great way of exchanging music. Waterford as well has its own style of music, and you can hear it here when you hear in the different tune types and songs. Of course, a lot of songs is very strong tradition of singing here in County Waterford. Yeah, and it's great to mix it with the styles of Kerry and, you know, musicians from Donegal and Galway. And that's the great thing about Irish music. That's what keeps it very rich and very interesting, that the variances in different styles from the different regions. It's a great thing about Irish music.
Waterford has a proud tradition of music going way back to the early 50s, and I'd say in Ring, the Gaeltacht area and the singing, you know, Nicholas Tobin, God be good to him, Jimmy Coffey, and Mulqueen, tremendous singers, Anya Nick-Hallig. The tradition is there, and it's lovely to have it be continued. It's great to say, oh, it's great to talk about it and turn over to the next chapter. But it's great for the like of Michael Mannon and his group in Coolnessmere that have taken an interest in continuing the good work that has been done by those people way back when Coltis was formed in 1950. It's wonderful.
Basically, we don't get to play in Ireland that often, so when we get to play, it's great to be here in our hometown. We're used to touring America and abroad quite a bit, so it's great that we can take our show, which we perform all over the world, here into the hometown. It's great to do it as part of the Trad Festival, and it was nice to be invited to perform here and be one of the big concerts for the festival.
Well, it's inspirational, really, you know, like it's always Dungarvan that seems to pull off something like this brilliantly, I have to say. I'm half from here, so I'd have an interest always in supporting anything that goes on here. Well, for the festival, it's just non-stop music on the streets, involves all the kids, adults, top-class musicians, and most importantly, it's coinciding with the County Fleadh, which makes the County Fleadh more exciting than it already is. So there's more to competition than competition. There's this entertainment and there's the whole fun side of it. So that, you know, all the kids competing, they get to see what it's all about. Yes, the competitions are one thing, and it's brilliant to have the two together. And off they go downtown, they busk in the busking competitions, they play tunes together, meet people they haven't seen for years. They have people come down to, you know, they're coming from the other sides of the country just to come down because there's a festival with the County Fleadh. So we have other counties coming down. All the little, you'll see them all going around their little crews, meeting up down on, you know, the Anchor Bar and the moorings down on the festival, all out in the streets in the sun, playing their tunes and just getting together, you know. Lovely, lovely aspect of it.
Well, it's a great festival, and it happens every year, and it's really after coming on for the last 2 years, and so many people have come down for it, and I'm a local musician myself and play the concertina, and since Friday night it's really been a great weekend. and today's Sunday and it's still happened, you know. I'm a local musician, so I play on the gig rigs and just every session I can fit into. It's really good because it brings all the people down and they see, you know, what great standard is in Dungarvan.
The Tradfest has an economic benefit to the town also because it brings people into town, and it also brings the locals even from outside around the town. It gives them a reason to come into town outside of their usual shopping and their usual weekly visit. It brings them in to hang around, and it's very good for the local businesses. And you know, when there's music in the square and people are having coffees, they're seeing what's going on with local businesses, and of course the pubs as well, because there's a lot of music happening within the pubs here as well. So it's very good economically.
I think Dungarvan has a good history now of putting these festivals together, and they've gone from strength to strength. I've watched them for years, they've come up for years, and this is one of the best ones now, I think, this year. The weather helps, but they had a great lineup, you know, so I think for the local economy it has to be good. I'm here for 2 or 3 days, I'm eating all the time. It's nice to see people cooperating with each other, which is what they do in Dungarvan. They have a real sense of spirit, I think.
Dungarvan is a great musical town. We've got 2 great bands here, Danu and Collanua, and you hear in the background there our own young band from our own Cortes branch, Scalela and Cool Kjol together. Well, the Tradfest has brought a lot of foreign visitors to the town. I've particularly noticed many visitors from places like Australia, Belgium, Holland, Germany, America. A lot of Americans here this weekend. I'm very, very surprised that when you sort of half watch out for visitors, that there are so many people here from foreign places. I wanted to get that sense myself to see how many visitors are we getting here. Quite a lot. There wasn't a bit to be got in this town this weekend.
Coming up after the break, we travel to Bunmahan and meet artist and designer Orla Hammersley. And we journey down the Copper Coast to Words, a writers' group in the art hand that gives poets, playwrights, comedians and novelists an opportunity to perform, share knowledge and be inspired. So don't go anywhere.
Explore and discover Mayo's famous heritage town of Westport, nestled along the shores of Clew Bay under the shadow of Crowpatrick. Westport is everyone's dream location with adventure and family activities, mouth-watering local cuisine and a bustling nightlife. Why not cycle the Great Western Greenway, visit its historic houses and castles, make a splash at one of its blue flag beaches, soak up the atmosphere in its traditional pubs, or stay in one of Westport's award-winning hotels. For more, visit destinationwestport.com.
Brian Cunningham's superb new Shanos Dancing DVD, In the Blood, is available to buy right now from irishtv.ie. Learn about the history and heritage of Ireland's oldest dance and the extraordinary and moving story of the Cunninghams, Ireland's best-known Shanos dancing family. Visit irishtv.ie and buy your DVD now.
Dinniskinan Motors Thurles County Tipperary offer you the latest selection of Honda models along with a huge variety of quality used cars. Celebrating 38 years in business, Kinnan Motors is the #1 shop for motors in the Thurles area. Call into our showrooms today or visit our website dinniskinanhonda.ie.
Visit Knock Shrine, an international place of pilgrimage and prayer where over 1.5 million pilgrims come each year. Be one of them and discover the 5 churches, the Knock Museum, the religious book centre and more, all set in 100 acres of beautifully landscaped gardens, creating an atmosphere of peace and tranquility. See knock-shrine.ie.
An Sugan Seafood Bar and Restaurant is a family-run restaurant in Clonakilty, County Cork. An Sugan is the perfect place to get away from it all and relax with a glass of wine and a bowl of fresh Bantry Bay mussels. Food is served all day in our bar, and our restaurant has 2 private dining rooms that are suitable to cater for all occasions. For more, see onsugan.com.
Formula Karting Newry is the largest indoor karting centre in Europe. We have luxury viewing areas and hospitality suites and can provide you with an exciting, fast-paced and unforgettable visit. With a range of unique tracks, we are the perfect destination for team building or simply a memorable day with friends. Visit us at formulakarting.com.
Just a few miles from Dungarvan, along the Copper Coast, is home to artist and designer Orla Hammersley. Orla's paintings are bold and bright, which contrast with her monochrome pencil drawings. Orla spoke to us about how she's inspired by her everyday surroundings, as well as her own hands at work.
I'm an artist and designer from Bunmahan in County Waterford. I live by the sea here in Bunmahan with my 4 children and my husband Malcolm. Well, I'm lucky to have a lovely little studio above my kitchen in my house here in Bunmahan. It's lovely and bright. I have north-facing windows on it, which gives a lovely light. I have no direct light coming in, so it's easy to work all day around. I don't have the sun glaring in at any point in the day. It gives me the ideal place to escape, work, leave things settle without them being tampered with, but yet it's an open plan so I can hear what's going on in the house below. My inspiration comes from day-to-day objects, things I'm working on at the time. My latest collection is called Working Hands, and as you can see probably from around me, the painting of my hands on what I'm doing. So there's paintings of me doing needlework, there's painted of me knitting, crocheting, and obviously I do the needlework design as well, scarves and wraps. So I'm inspired by what I'm physically at the time. I would have thought my inspiration has changed over the years, but looking back on work I did when I was in school, hands seemed to be something I was always passionate with. And of course it's always there. You don't have to go far to find the inspiration. Another thing I'm fascinated by are seashells and whelks. I find them walking along the beaches here in Bunmahan. They have a beautiful spiral format, and the colours in them, even though you would think there's not much colour, when you actually look at them, there's the colours of the rainbow. So depending on your humour, you can extract what you like from them. So yeah, I would think that my inspiration has changed a little bit, but all seems to come back to the same thing. My techniques would be, I work a lot in pencil. That would probably stem from the fact I trained as a draftsman, so I'm comfortable with pencil in my hand. So that would be very monochromatic, black and white, detailed pencil work. And that contrasts completely then to my paintings, which I do in acrylic. And my acrylic paintings are very bold, very bright and vibrant. So they're stark contrasts to each other. But considering I would start off with a pencil drawing, study my object, and then progress to the acrylic painting. So they do tie together. There will always be a pencil drawing and then the acrylic. So in that respect, they do tie together. This painting here is a painting again of my own hand working, and it's an acrylic painting, and it's one of the larger pieces that I've done. It's just come back from an exhibition in Aoife's Gallery in the Viking Triangle in Waterford. And this next spot will be in the Coast Guard Cultural Centre, Love Lane, Tramore. And the exhibition called Working Hands will be opening on the 23rd of July and will run for 2 weeks. My maternal grandmother taught me to crochet when I was very young. And while pregnant, I got back into it. It was just, you know, sitting around with your legs up, told to rest. You're fidgeting, you need to do something. So I got back into, sat with a needle and yarn in my hands going, I know how to do this, I'll remember it. And it came back to me, and of course did the mandatory baby blankets and the things you do while you're expecting, and then did them for friends, for their babies, and then started making scarves and wraps with very fine cotton. My crochet work and my artwork would influence each other greatly, in that I have pencil drawings of my own hands working, either knitting, sewing, doing embroidery, painting, drawing. My last exhibition was called Working Hands, and it was in Aoife's Gallery on the Mala in Waterford City in the Viking Triangle. And the reason I called it Working Hands is quite obviously, first off, is that they're actually pictures of working hands, but on the other side, it's my hands working. You know, the old saying is idle hands for the devil's work. I never have idle hands. I get fidgety and bored. So I combined the needlework design and the painting quite successfully, I think, in that exhibition. Bunmahon and the Copper Coast are beautiful, and there's one thing I'm very passionate about is the whole area, the whole location between Dungarvan, Tramore and the Cummer Mountains is spectacular. You can't help but get inspired by the area. So I'm very, very fortunate, and I thank God every day for the area that we're living in.
So if you would like to know more about Orla, you can visit her website on hammersleyart.com. The Art Hand was founded by Sean and Miranda Corcoran and aims to provide challenging art courses for adults and children. We went along to their monthly Words Night, a night that brings together a diverse group of writers from the traditional to alternative, including spoken word, rap and poetry.
The Art Hand is a small art school that myself and my husband Sean run. It's aimed at adults and children. We run courses and we have lots of fun. Well, the idea for the Art Hand came as a lifestyle change for us. We bought our site, we built our home, and we had this small cottage attached to the home, and it grew into the Art Hand and our small art school.
We've tried to cater for what people around here like. We're not like a high-end, we're not delivering it's crazy intellectual high-end contemporary art. We're delivering the kind of art we like as well, which is like mainstream. We like things that are nice, we like things that are pretty, we like films that are colourful, we like interesting things like that, and the people around here seem to like the same things we like, which is great. So in terms of the support we've had has been phenomenal. So we're not trying to get 10 or 12 people to make a big killing. It's a small, intimate, easygoing kind of a thing. We do mosaic classes. We do several different kind of adult classes, including our most recent thing hasn't started yet, it's starting in a couple of weeks. It's called the Saturday Art Club, and the Saturday Art Club is for adults where they come each fortnight, once a fortnight, for a different art project each week. Could be a mosaic, could be a piece of stained glass, could be something that all the adults team together and we have a nice lunch afterwards.
Tonight's event at the Art Hand is our Words Writers performance group. It's a bunch of people that get together, they're writers, they might write poetry, some people are writing novels and prose, and we all kind of like to get together and they like to read their work, and people just sit back and listen. There's not really any critique involved, so which I think is one of the big attractions for people. They kind of seem to like to come just to relax and enjoy the evening. And other people, they would read something written by somebody else, or they don't partake at all. You're welcome just to come, sit down, relax and enjoy the spoken word.
When I came up with the idea first, I thought of doing it in a public house. And then I thought, we might get 40 people, 50 people in a public house, but we only get 20 listen to the poetry, and there's possibly 30 or 40 people knocking back pints and debating the whole, and nobody listening. So I thought, I didn't realise Sean had this lovely place here, and when I did realise it, I went back to Sean and said, look, why go to a public house? Let us do it in your place. And if we get 30 people in your place or 20, at least that 20 or 30 people are there for one reason, and that reason is to listen to poetry.
Yeah, tonight's event would be just as it always is. Say, it's open for everyone to come up and say something. It's not limited to poetry, it's not limited to short story, it's not limited to prepared work, because a lot of it has been spontaneity, when someone has gotten up and been able to challenge thought in other people's minds by their own certainties, and especially by their own uncertainties.
They asked me to write about God. Thought about it. I said, probably not. Without faith, what is there when elsewise is my belief? Politely put, I don't believe in fairies, tales, or history, because I know even my own memoirs do not reflect truly what happened.
It's really a place of free expression. And I've seen people cry here, I've seen people laugh, I've seen people say things about people they just met on the street. People have been able to come up with writings about someone who spoke the day before. And in its own way, it's been very, very challenging.
Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is in Irish.
No, this is my very first time here, and it's lovely. I really love it here, and I'll be back. I got a lift out of Tramore of 2 writer friends, and the drive was just gorgeous. It's like a really beautiful evening. And then coming in here, and the place is so arty and funky, and I wrote my name down then to perform, and I was really nervous. But
yes, that's exactly what Words is. That it's like a sword that has opened up it's like a paper knife, a huge big paper knife that has opened up lots of things in all of us.
So I always advise people, if you're going to write poetry, just write yourself, write how you feel. And there's no poetry that isn't good if it's true to you. For a young writer, well, young in the sense of starting to write, it's been a great place to share. It's been a great place to learn. It's been a great place to realize that in each person there is a writer, even when it's not published.
So if you would like to perform a poem, a piece of prose, a short story excerpt, or just have a listen, Words meets once a month in Shauna Miranda's Art Hand. That's it for tonight's show. Remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out our website on irishtv.ie, and if you would like to get in touch, email us at waterford@irishtv.ie.